Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at a muffler. Now we've done this before. I actually did a whole video on the Goodwin Super Q. Really cool exhaust. I called the video wife approved because, well, your wife would probably approve of it because it is quieter. Super Q stands for super quiet. That's actually what's on this car. It was on my car, but now I'm trying something new. See, my issue with the Super Q is that it was actually too quiet. Now it's actually great when paired with maybe a catless header, that it can help quiet down more aggressive exhaust setups, but I had the opposite issue happen. I have this car which is now turbocharged and it's carb compliant. It's legal in California and Colorado with our more strict emission standards, which means a cat was thrown back in. Now, I'm no physicist, but when a cat is added, that makes it quieter. So that led me to NC Miata, where I found the Cobalt Dual Tipped Muffler. The reason we have two cars here is because, well, I wanted to give you guys a full example of how the Cobalt sounds on both naturally aspirated and turbocharged, otherwise completely factory exhausts. Okay, so Cameron's here with his car. You guys have actually seen this car on the channel recently, but in stock form. Now it's less stock. You could call it stage 1 modified lightly, I don't know. Yeah, basics with wheels, tires, suspension, muffler.
That's it.
Like, those are kind of the starting points I tell a lot of people to do. So muffler being one of those. You actually took my old Super Q, and now I have the Cobalt on my car. So we're actually going to jump back to before Miata Summer Camp when we did this whole install on my car. It's really pretty easy, but we'll show you anyway.
Stacking up losses, I'm handing them out.
This is exhausting. Got the old exhaust out. Will point out that the old gasket I was attempting to use is pretty terrible. It was an Amazon generic one that I kind of cut to fit the bolts, and it was just not good. Sure. Woo!
Thick, boy.
Was she thick, boy? What? Came with a gasket? All right.
And hardware.
And hardware, that's good. So Manny's, explain your process.
A bit of depth of doing this after I haven't done it so long. I just get these hangers in first. Usually I move this up a little bit with some WD-40 or something.
So I know I didn't show the old exhaust coming off, but it's a really, really simple modification. 2 bolts connected to the mid-pipe, and you just pull the hooks out of the rubber hangers. Soapy water helps, WD-40 helps, you just kind of gotta wrestle this thing. Manny lived in Florida, so I think maybe he practiced on wrestling alligators or something. I'm actually obsessed with the way these tips look.
There's some good looking tips, my boy.
Like they taper in.
I'm getting blinded right now.
The sun's getting real low.
Absolutely blasted by the sun right now.
All right, so on camera, are we all gonna take bets on how long before Luke gets here?
What time did he say he'll be here?
I mean, when he called, which is what, 15 minutes ago?
Something like that, maybe 20.
He said 30-ish.
It's already.
I'd say from right now.
No, there's another 30.
From right now, 30, yeah. Okay, so it's a 15 and a 16 needed for the hardware included by Cobalt. Not entirely sure why, but now you know. Totally works. We're using the gasket they provided, not the one Austin bought, but if you do need gaskets, I mean, Racing Beat has them. I'm sure other companies have them. I've seen them out there. I tried the Amazon special. It didn't work too well, so maybe I don't recommend that route. You could just weld it, right?
Weld it, RGB, solder it up.
Solder it up.
It does.
Weld the diff while you're under there. I'm upset. What do you think of the tips?
Crazy.
Crazy.
I'll trade you.
Okay. What do you have? I forget what you have.
I have the Roadster Sport 2.
All right. Ooh, little bit of rumble there.
A little lower. Here we go.
I feel like it's got a bit more throat than the Super
Yeah,
Q.
it's got like the Little bit of a throat, almost like Fiat 124, a bark like throat. What do you think?
It's not bad.
Driver's seat review?
Needs some more pops and crackles though.
Yeah.
Make it like a Fiat, you know?
That's true, yeah. All right, well.
That's good. We'll see if it drones on the highway.
Yeah, when we're done, we'll take it out and give it a real rip. But that's awesome. Sounds good. Okay, so that's pretty basic. Yeah, and we'll show you guys, I guess, more clips right now, because what we're gonna do is actually take this muffler and try it on both cars. So we'll throw the Super Q off to the side. That's not the point of this video. I'm actually excited to show you guys the Cobalt. Now, as we showed earlier, this thing looks super cool. Like, it's got kind of a chamfered edge leading into it with a kind of a flat outside, unlike the rolled tips of both the Super Q and actually the stock muffler kind of has more of a rolled tip look. I'm a huge fan of how this looks. So what we're gonna do is pull off both mufflers. Like I said earlier, really super easy. And then we'll do, first of all, the stock Miata, naturally aspirated powertrain with the Cobalt Dual Tip Muffler. And then we'll throw it on the turbo car. We'll get the same exact clips of drive-bys, kind of a cold start scenario, maybe not truly cold start, but you know, a first startup, idling, and in cabin, how is it with especially the retractable hardtops? Because most people want to know, how is it with droniness with the retractable hardtop at both low and higher speeds? Hopefully we can get a lot of good sound clips for you guys, because that's something it's really hard to portray through camera, but we'll both get the sound clips, but also talk about it.
Right.
And everyone's ears are different. So maybe if both of our ears, all four of our ears, experience it, we can kind of relay that to camera. Let's do it. All right, so as you saw from the time lapse, hopefully not too bad of a job. Just 2 bolts that connect the muffler to the mid pipe, as we showed before, and some soapy water technically would help with the hangers, the rubber hangers, maybe some WD-40, I don't know, but either way, pretty simple. But here's how the Cobalt looks. Really nice branding on the tip, Cobalt right there. It's actually gonna be cool to see this on both of our cars, because I have an aftermarket diffuser. You have the stock rear valence. There's also a club rear valence that some NCs came with. The clubs would, of course. That also would have a slightly maybe further back opening. But actually this looks really good with the stock valence, which I would say most people have.
Yeah, it pokes just a tiny bit.
Yeah, a little bit of poke.
Just enough to see them.
Nothing aggressive, but it does look, I mean, that looks so much better than the factory one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We don't have a factory exhaust here to show you guys, but if you're watching this, chances are you probably know what it sounds like, and you probably don't love it, which is why you're looking for something better. In case you don't know what it sounds like, here is a clip. Yeah, that's what the factory exhaust sounds like, basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, now that this is mounted, we'll show it on my car in a little bit. All right, let's do cold start. Ooh, nice little rumble there. And if you want to give a little tap on the accelerator. Wow, yeah, a little low tone, low resonance. So now's the moment of truth. Some flybys with the naturally aspirated NC Miata with the Cobalt exhaust, otherwise stock setup. This will be interesting. First impressions as a bystander, it sounds really nice as it's pulling away. So he ramped up to maybe 50 miles an hour there. Didn't quite redline it, but it does sound nice and I'd say full-bodied, like a Cabernet Sauvignon. Until those guys pulled right out in front of Cameron. Yeah, it sounds good. Not too loud. Definitely a little louder than the Super Q, I would say. definitely louder than the stock exhaust. I wouldn't have even heard it coming. I mean, it would have been like a Tesla going by. But the Cobalt definitely a bit more full-bodied. I like that. The outside is one thing, but of course what matters maybe to more people is how it sounds on the inside. Most people don't want an exhaust if it's going to be really droney. That's just kind of miserable. I mean, for those who saw my recent GR86 video, yeah, very droney exhaust with an automatic. That was a bit rough. At least with the manual, you can control the revs a bit more. But yeah, do a quick pull, I guess.
Give it a rip.
Nice. Such a great car. So, what's your impression so far?
It's pretty smooth, especially like throughout the rev range. I noticed a little resonance, like engine braking at like 2700 RPM or so. Right there, just everything is more boomy. But,
Yeah.
but it's not really a whole lot of like volume difference throughout the rev range, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like the noise level is a little bit higher than Super Q.
Yeah.
But kind of like, you know, Super Q is like a little higher than stock. People said like 15% maybe. This feels maybe another 15%. Like it's not a big percentage. It's not like twice as loud. It's not another half as loud. It's just like a little bump in noise, but also the tone feels a little bit different.
Yeah.
I would almost say more full body. Like the Super Q does have a really nice low end rumble. At times that can mean kind of boomy.
Yeah, I noticed that too, having it on for the last whatever week or two.
Yeah.
It's like 1500 or so, which you're not really in all that often, but you are like decelerating when you're like coming up to a light or something.
Yeah.
And that's just it is truly pretty boomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This does seem to kind of even it out. However, we were just cruising there and I was in 6th gear, like 60 miles an hour, and you can hear the exhaust, whereas Super Q, it just disappears.
It kind of
which is great.
disappears, yeah. So this is like, I feel like just a bit more noticeable throughout.
Yeah,
which,
for sure.
Which was kind of, importantly, you know, I think I really, this wasn't meant to be a comparison, but it actually is a very common muffler, Super Q, versus a lot of other things. And so I do think I like having a bit more exhaust tone. I think naturally the Super Q works really well, especially paired with like more exhaust components, and it actually helps silent it down. I mean, you have the baffles you can put into the exhaust to make it even a bit quieter.
True.
If you go full header mid pipe situation. But a lot of people just want a really quick, easy, which the muffler is definitely the easiest of the 3 exhaust components, and an easy way to make a bit more sound, almost OEM plus.
Yeah.
Like I think,
Like a sport exhaust.
yeah,
kind of an
like
option.
I almost feel like the Super Q equates to what a bit more like how the ND sounded from factory. Like the ND did have a bit more of a sparkly exhaust from the factory than the NC did, but still feels kind of factory. This one feels, I mean, factory is a vague term because a lot of cars come from the factory that sound kind of crazy. But this one feels like there's just a bit more noise level at kind of all RPMs. And yes, a little bit of big bump here. A little bit of drone in certain levels, but that's very easy to circumnavigate if you need to, especially if you're in control of revs by having, well, the manual. I do wonder, you know, having an automatic, it might be a little harder to control. And I have heard people, even with the Super Q, put the baffles in if they have an automatic, just because they don't want drone wherever possible. But I really like, I mean, especially a car like this that loves to be revved out. These MCR engines love to be revved almost to death, especially in C2 and 3 that can handle higher revs. I think this is a really cool pairing for that from the factory setup.
Yeah. They both sound good, and they both have their merits for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's the factory exhaust with the Cobalt muffler. And now we're gonna pull back in, swap it back over, switch it to the turbo, style things up a notch. Maybe in power, but maybe down in noise. All right, really not too bad. Definitely recommend soapy water
Way easier.
on the hangers. Just makes it so easy. And I mean, not that this is a really normal scenario, but after ripping on the exhaust for a bit, reviewing it, pulling inside, it's gonna be hot.
Yep.
Give it a little bit of time to cool off maybe. Wear gloves, safety first. But we got this thing settled in nicely there. So already a little bit of a black soot because I've been using this, well actually been tracking with it, been doing all sorts of stuff. Actually, this is one of the things, like I said, we did before Miata Summer Camp, before all the track day prep and stuff. But I really do like how this sits with my diffuser, just kind of angles down a little bit from the diffuser, but not aggressively sticking out, also not hiding back in there. It works really nicely with this Carbon Miata diffuser. The diffuser, unfortunately, has seen better days. A lot of the Plasti Dip has kind of been coming off, partially when we installed the exhaust, but also this exhaust sits a little bit higher than the Super Q did. The Super Q had just a little bit more clearance, and so at times it has touched the diffuser. That wouldn't actually be an issue on the factory valence as we saw in Cameron's car, but with this, I mean, I guess if you have the Carbon Miata diffuser, there's ways around that, ways to kind of adjust the hanging and even like pull up the mid pipe a little bit, which then angles this back down. There's lots of ways people adjust exhausts. I just haven't gotten to that, haven't cared enough. I still think it looks good. Yep. And maybe more importantly, let's see how it sounds. Cameron, we talked about wheels, tires, suspension, muffler, has kind of the basic modifications, but I forgot about the other extremely important basic one you've done, custom license plate. The shout out to the black Colorado, I forget what they call
It's
it.
like
Vintage
a historic,
retro.
like retired plate.
Yeah.
From a long time ago.
And you got Miata, great name.
I did.
Cameron's,
it's available.
Of course, proud member of the Flyin Miata Yacht Club.
That's right.
Which I should probably put one of those stickers on my car. It's a great spot for it. Fits perfectly.
It does, yeah.
Between the A pillar and the B pillar, if I call it a B pillar.
Right. Little window frame.
Yeah, but yeah, all right. Got them both to the ground. You can kind of see side by side how they're kind of looking. And yeah, let's go test it out. See how it sounds from both inside and outside of the cabin. Once again, nice low rumble. Nice. Yep. Couple pops here and there. That's part of the tune. So, guess we'll do the same thing. See how it sounds, fly by, inside, all that. Should be fun. Can you believe my neighbor just parked here for no reason? I mean, I park here all the time for filming, but like, I don't leave my car here overnight. Crazy. All right. Have fun. So something about the tune is actually what causes the popping. It's intentional. It's not to be annoying either. It's actually, to my understanding, like a timing slash, I forget what it's called, but like, it's California's fault basically. With how the emissions controls are done to get the cat light enough, to get the cat lit up faster, it has to pop. That's just how it is. It's crazy, but that's how it is. God, that sounds so sick. Some growl from the muffler, not quite as loud as Cameron's, but then you have all the turbo noise. I think a bug flew in my mouth. Now it even sounds like it's giving a little growl, like on acceleration. It's like, I can't make that noise at all, but I've heard similar noises from a GT3 RS. Ghosty also looks so fast. I'm never watching it from outside. This is super weird. Appreciate Cameron for driving because I don't usually get this experience. Definitely a bit more growl, I think, than the Super Q, which is kind of what I wanted. This turbo solves so many problems about the car, obviously, such as power and, well, front noises. I mean, some people do, you know, intake type stuff that sounds cool from up front, but like, it's hard to beat the like little turbo like that's exhilarating in and of itself. But I feel like adding a bit more exhaust to the back gives it that surround sound effect. I'm big into audio systems, and someday I need to like fully address the sound system in here, just make it really good. But I don't know, that'll happen eventually maybe. But more importantly, I think this is one of the few cars where I don't really feel like I need music. It's just fun to like drive top down, listen to the sounds of the car. And now that I can hear something behind me as well, that really helps. You could still hear the Super Q a bit, but I do think being Super Q, super quiet, I was just missing a little bit of something. And like we said earlier, Super Q paired with other exhaust components, it's really a great solution for a lot of people. But if you just want a little bit more, it's awesome. And it's not overwhelming, it's not overpowering. I could see some people wanting even more, but then that's where you can do like a mid-pipe, or, you know, other people maybe who don't have to worry about emissions might do a turbo kit like this without the front cat. That's an option. Not officially recommended or even supported necessarily, but it's a thing you could theoretically, allegedly do. And then you'll have more sound and everything too. But dealing with two cats as you're required by law to do, this really helps. Just give a little bit of a growl out back. And right now we're doing not quite highway speeds, but kind of doing like a 3,000 RPM, around 60 miles an hour. Yeah, really not too droney either. Would you agree?
I'd agree. Yeah, and honestly, I think like this is the best setup for, you can daily drive it because it's not crazy obnoxious, intake or otherwise.
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't stink like catless cars do.
You're right.
And yeah, it's great in my opinion. You know, if it short of like full track build or something, this is perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is hard to review exhaust components because it is so subjective. But I think for people like us who do daily our Miatas and do enjoy them in a variety of occasions, and you know, I'd like to start my car in the garage and not make my neighbors want to kill me, or fiance, or you know, anyone. Just like it's nice to have something you can kind of open up out on the road. You can still hear it and enjoy it like we are right now. But then like not worrying about being annoying. I've driven a slew of exhaust type scenarios in various cars. Some are pretty annoying, but then they sound cool, and it's just like, you know, pick your battles, I guess. But I really think this is a sweet spot, a happy medium. I'm planning on probably sticking with this for a while. Okay, so that's my thoughts culminated on the Cobalt Dual Tip Muffler from NC Miata. Link is in the description if you guys are interested. I'm definitely a fan. I know a lot of you guys are starting to pick up your turbo kits, receiving delivery. Some of you may be doing various exhaust things, fully custom. There's all sorts of options. That's one reason I love the Miata in general. NC Miata especially, just the aftermarket support is huge. And I'm, yeah, pretty big fan of this one. I'll probably stick with this for the foreseeable future because it solves what I wanted. A little bit more sound, a little bit more oomph throughout the rev range, not too overwhelming, not annoying. I didn't do like a muffler delete of any kind. I didn't do like a single pump dump, whatever you call it. I just stuck with the Cobalt as is, and I'm a huge fan of it. I like the look of the tips. It'll just be a little bit more effort for me to keep them clean because now I want to, because I like how they look so much. So yeah, that's it. Lots more to come on this car as usual. Someday wheels and tires are in my interest, especially after the track stuff. So hopefully you guys will see that video when it comes out, or if it's out, whatever. Because I learned a lot about how even ultra high performance all seasons aren't quite my choice on track. But I'll be road tripping these throughout the summer. Miatas at the Gap, lots of stuff coming up. And now that I've seen Cameron's car tinted, I think I need tint.